Welcome to SEC 210, Week 4. We're diving into the critical concept of cybersecurity substrata. It's time to harden the ground we stand on. We'll shore up identity, encryption, secure coding, and the network so intrusions have fewer places to hide. Let's review the required activities for Week 4. Please follow the instructions in the Blackboard module exactly. The core materials include reading Chapter 3 Cybersecurity Substrata, reviewing the accompanying PowerPoints, and working through the flashcards. The graded items are Live Virtual Machine Lab 3-1, Techniques to Determine Malicious Activity, the Chapter 3 quiz, and the Week 4 podcast quiz. Remember, all work is due by the dates shown in the course syllabus. There is absolutely no late work, and your weekly submission of graded work is your attendance. Our first learning objective focuses on Identity and Access Management, or IAM. This is the foundation of who and what can access your systems. You need to explain authentication versus authorization versus accounting, and where these appear in logs. Compare passwords, MFA and passkeys, and recognize events that indicate spray, stuff, or MFA fatigue attacks. We will map common identity stores like Active Directory, LDAP, and SSO to SIEM fields such as user, device, group, and source IP. This detection mindset means failed to successful logins, geovelocity, and a new device equals a high-risk narrative. Next, let's cover the fundamentals of encryption and secure coding practices. Distinguish between symmetric versus asymmetric encryption, hashing versus encryption, and digital signatures. Understand what the TLS handshake reveals and the basics of key management, like rotation and storage. And please, don't email the private key. Recognize input validation, parameterized queries, and output encoding blunt OWASP-style bugs like injection or XSS. Understand dependency risk and tie code defects to telemetry like errors, stack traces, and authentication bypass attempts. Our final learning objective is the networking substrata. Networks are the highway for data, and we need to understand their vulnerabilities. Refresh your knowledge on ports, protocols, subnets, and segmentation, including VLAN, ACLs, and DMZ. You need to understand how placement affects visibility. Explain how proxy, DNS, NetFlow, and PCAP complement endpoint logs to confirm or refute a hypothesis. Look for beaconing patterns, new egress destinations, and why blocked by policy events are gold for detection. Now, let's focus on Live Virtual Machine Lab 3-1, Techniques to Determine Malicious Activity. You'll practice reading small slices of endpoint and network telemetry to decide, is it a benign admin task or a living off the LAN chain? Hunt for parent-to-child process anomalies, like Office launching PowerShell, odd command line flags, and base 64 telltales. Your deliverables include screenshots, event IDs or fields, and a 2 to 3 sentence justification describing what behavior, which signal, and why it indicates malicious activity. A helpful tip: if you expected a log and didn't get it, document the gap and propose a control. Let's wrap up with the podcast tie-in and the final call to action. As you watch the Living Off the Land Attacks and Emerging Cyber Threats podcast, tag each example to a substratum: identity for valid account abuse, crypto when TLS doesn't equal legitimacy, code for supply chain risks, and network for rogue beacons. Build the reflex, technique to log signal to control to evidence. Run Week 4 top to bottom. Reading, slides, flashcards, LVML 3-1, Chapter 3 quiz, and podcast quiz. Focus your notes on IAM events, crypto basics, secure coding signals, and the network clues that tie it all together. Questions? Email me at trboyd@johnstoncc.edu.